So we're looking at Lumio today, a really interesting fintech. It's a bit like a money box app, but actually helps people to invest. So let's look at it. They're saying money is lazy. I'm going to give my opinion and insights as I go through this, as always. So let's look at the app. Lazy advisors, lazy money apps, lazy banks, yada yada. Auto savers saving random amounts, high interest credit cards and loans, absurd investment fees, low interest, savings accounts. I won't disagree with that. They've got a case study here or a persona-based thing. Meet Remy, an average person, 32 product manager, earning 38k, probably living in London with that amount or somewhere a big city, I imagine. 8k in savings, losing about 600 a year to inflation. It's probably gone up since then. She believes that, bills are changing every month, maybe more like quarter on quarter. Spreadsheets are a faff. She might believe that. And I think a lot of people will believe that spreadsheets are a hassle. I don't, but she's not a fan of crypto. She reads the FT. Sorry, not a crypto reader, FT reader, or money saving expert, which is probably the majority of people. Financial stats, she uses HSBC, Monzo, Revolut, Amex, and Coinbase. Although she says she's not a crypto trader, but what she uses Coinbase, I think might be a slight discrepancy there, but whatever. Wants to say without impacting the day-to-day or overdraft, nobody is helping Remy, basically. Let's move on to the next. Looking at her kind of money, I like the way I've done this slide, actually. So kind of the average millennial, I guess. What's the average millennial doing? Well, they're spending money on Deliveroo, Ocado, Chip, one of my investments, ClassPass, I guess that's learning, maybe, ASOS, fast fashion, Uber, transport, Airbnb, rent. I make a bit of money from Airbnb as well. Check out some of my property videos and investment ideas on that. Basically, they're saying that there's 212 money, which is lazy money, which is not spent on anything. It's underestimated, under-advised, under-optimized. And that would be like a lot of money per year, like 2,400, I guess. Why it's, sorry, here we go. Millions like Remy. They believe 7 million in the UK. Like Remy, 600 a year, is losing to inflation. 33 billion is lost. I think this is right. Like, I've noticed how much I can be investing from my kind of spare cash, but sometimes it's just kind of left to do nothing. And might get spent kind of on clothes or eating out or just on useless stuff. So I think there could be a really interesting gap in the market here, especially for like younger people, Gen Z, millennials, younger generations who are struggling with not being able to afford houses and have crappy pensions and whatnot. Let's move on. So this is the app. Looks pretty good, actually. So what does it do? Save, track, and analyze. I think it's connected. It's like open banking as well. So grow your money on autopilot. Looks pretty good. 200 types of accounts analyzed, 100,000 connected accounts, 1.5 billion in transactions analyzed already. It's a fair model, £3 for the pro model, and they're making already 240,000 a month with 80,000 subscribers. I think that's really good. So what's that? It's probably around nearly 3 million a year annual recurring revenue. Being a fintech, I would expect their gross margins to be about 80-90%. Maybe not now, but maybe in a couple of years, it'd probably be 80-90%. So they might be making whatever that is. Yes, something like maybe 2.6 million a year of profit from that, which is really good because, I don't think they talk about gross margins in this deck, but let's move on anyway. Look at their user growth. They're 5x users in a year. That's really, really good. Weekly engagement's going up as well. So it's like in tandem, 5x on users, roughly 5x on weekly engagement. That's good to know as well, because it means that their current users are currently using the app as much as they were kind of back in August. So maybe it takes a bit of time post, if there's a bit of lag, if people are coming in kind of May, May to August over here on the left-hand side, but they start actually using it. And I've noticed this. I've installed Lumio, haven't started using it, but I will start using it. And I'm sure, once people start using it, they get the benefits. So there's 3 steps to win: accelerating domestic growth in the seed round. This is the seed round. They're a small valuation, only £8 million, probably circa $10 million. But if they can grow their users to 250,000 and 80,000 subscribers, and then go on to scale across Europe, they can get a lot of users. I always look at go-to-market strategies and fundraising strategies, because this is kind of what I do for work. I work for WhatsApp, and I do a lot of go-to-market planning. By the way, this stuff on the board is not go-to-market planning, it's my wedding planning. I'm getting married 3 weeks tomorrow, at the time of filming this video anyway. But the point is they're looking to grow in Europe. I think they'd probably grow a lot easier in other countries. It's a lot less costly to grow in places like APAC and LATAM. Latin America is also a lot easier to grow because of language. There's less language barriers. Most of Latin America, for example, speaks English. So Europe can be quite tricky to grow in because there's a lot of countries, there's a lot of different regulations. So I think there's a question mark for me over the growth plans in Europe. If there's anyone from the business who's watching this video, then feel free, to comment on the video or on any other platform that I post this on. Let me know what you think. In terms of the user growth, I think this is very realistic. I don't think it's wildly out of the picture, just because I think there'll be people talking about this. It's an interesting, noteworthy application, and that means that it could grow organically through word of mouth. I also think it would get a lot of press as well, maybe by Series A, by around hitting kind of 150,000 users, they could get in the press. And certainly, the next round they do as well will help fuel user growth. Okay, product rollout. They've got a really busy product roadmap, which I like, actually. I think is sustainable, and I think that it's practical for a seed size company to have an ambitious goals and have an ambitious product roadmap. So let's have a quick look at it. I don't understand kind of everything in this, and I'm not sure if they go into it into the deck, but still it looks and sounds good. They're like gamification, net worth version, a V1 of net worth, which I think is really important, because the proliferation of savings and investment apps means it's pretty difficult to track one's net worth. I know me, for example, I have lots of investments on Crowdcube and Seeders and other angel investments, as well as equities, as well as savings apps and accounts. It's very, very difficult. Property as well. It would take me, days to calculate my net worth, not because I'm worth a lot, just because it's in different disparate platforms. And if this app can kind of bring it together, I think it would help a lot of people. And even younger people might have more diversification in terms of they might have cryptos in different places and whatnot. So it looks like they're hiring here as well with project manager. Revenue 1K. I'm not quite sure what this means, this 1K of revenue, because earlier in the deck, they're saying they've got revenue of 240,000 a month. So I'm not quite sure what this 1K refers to. But anyway, territories UK and Ireland, I think that makes a lot of sense. They need a market to test in. They probably should think about their city targeting, because London will be the most expensive city to target. But, there's a lot of fintech savvy and ready people in London. I would probably do a lot of testing in different cities with paid media. That's what I specialize in. That's what I do for WhatsApp and Meta. But that's what I would look at for their integrations. That this is kind of open banking or PSD2. Probably the power behind this app will be about its integrations. A kind of platform of platforms, if you like. And that's what I like about this. And it's taken me a few weeks to get to this deck and think it through. But I think I'm getting more interested in this app. Let's go through it. Q3 2022. Money Manager version 2, Net Worth version 2. So maybe it's going to get more advanced. It'd be interesting to see if they've got any screenshots or anything that they're going to talk about there. I'm not sure they do. Automatic saving is investing, so that's coming soon. I think that's really exciting. That'll fuel growth. Gamification is good. Connections of crypto, property, and mortgages, I think, is really good, because if you can make like wealth, or like automating wealth across different asset classes, they're going to really this is going to be really important, especially if they can connect other stuff like even classic cars or art. I know there's private marketplaces to value some of these assets that are springing up everywhere. Head of growth is that, or I don't know. Data engineer, subscribers, it's growing up. So maybe they don't have subscribers now. Maybe that 240,000 recurring revenue is a forecast potentially. FCA intelligent money optimization, not quite sure what that is, but maybe this is like the PR thing that they want to do, or maybe it's a regulatory, I'm not sure. Q4 2022, carrying on with a lot of the projects from Q3, and then adding custom rules and custom goals. I think this is really good, having rules. They're going to add a data scientist. I think, I work with data scientists at Meta, and they're kind of worth their weight in gold. They cost a lot of money, but they can be very good. So that sounds good. They want to raise again here, £5 million Series A raise. I think that's going to be heavily dependent on how many users they have and how much revenue they have. But obviously, if they can get this, then they're off to the races, and they're going to grow they could grow very, very quickly. Home screen widget, I'm not sure what that is. I don't know if they can explain it, but it sounds good. Insight panel again. I think maybe that's like analytics, maybe, which again would be good. And they're going to go to Europe. Again, I'd question going to Europe. Maybe if it's connected to a global approach, like this is what I suggest. This is what I'm kind of more or less, this kind of logical approach is what I use at Meta and WhatsApp. Like if they go to market with like Spain, and then they can launch in LATAM, or they go to market in Portugal, and then they can go to Brazil and Angola and places like that. If they do it, that could be a way to kind of connect languages. If they roll out to like Germany and France and Italy, how many places in the world speak Italian? Not many. How many places in the world speak German? Not many. So doing it in a kind of connected, logical way, I think is quite important. Obviously, I don't have the fintech knowledge of every country. So there's probably some, obviously there's some logic there as well. How many countries in the world use Coinbase, for example? There might be some, there's probably some more sophisticated go-to-market planning they can do based on what fintechs are working in which countries. Team, they've got a leading fintech lawyer as a COO, Adrian. CEO Charlie is the head of growth, was the head of growth at Char Giffey before an exit to Cadence. CTO Anton, former lead engineer at Curve, VP of engineering at Pipit. And they've got the CPO is Tom, previously at Vitamin London and Havas, which is a marketing agency. And they've got an app marketer, Hannah. Samantha is advisor on diversity and CEO of Money Hub Enterprises. Matteo, co-founder of Healthily, and Ben, head of Hargreaves Lansdown Vantage and angel investor. It's good. So they've got a kind of wealth and fintech kind of backgrounds on the team, which is always helpful. Somewhere outside. Don't know if they're clapping me, but I'll ignore them. Sorry about that distraction. So they've raised 1.1 billion in a seed round. They haven't raised that on Crowdcube. I think they've only raised 300,000 or 400,000, but you have no, it could grow more. So that's the deck. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and then talk about my views and any insights. So what do I think about this? So you probably don't want to see with my wedding plans, I'm sure. I think it's a really good app. The concept is good. I like investing early. I think it's good to invest early because the risk kind of stays the same. at the seed stage, it's worth 8 million, right? But if it was worth 80 million, it'd still have the same risk. It could still, easily go under at 80 million, and even at 800 million. If you look at Monzo is valued at 4.5 billion, but it's losing 120 million pounds every year as of 2022. And it really depends what space the fintech is active in. Now, Monzo is active in the credit cards and bank account space, which is low margin, which is probably why they're losing so much money. But investing and saving is profitable. And also the other area of banking that's very profitable is loans, which is far more profitable than credit cards. I know this because I've worked at Barclays and NatWest before my job at Meta. And, if you care to look at the results of NatWest or Barclays, the results, come from lending, which is where I did my work actually in growth marketing for the lending department for NatWest. Anyway, how does that correlate or relate to Lumio? Well, they're kind of probably going to be quite high margin with their, it's kind of software as a service mixed in with investing. So they may be able to kind of create partnerships with some of these apps, maybe affiliate revenues for, potentially referring people to those apps. Software as a service is naturally high margins. So once you acquire a customer, if you can keep them happy, and if they're paying £3 recurring revenue a month, then you've got good kind of realistic and reliable recurring revenue for years to come. Also, what do I think about the app itself? I haven't used it. I have downloaded it. I haven't connected it to everything. I think there's a bit of work to connect every bank or every supplier. But I guess as maybe as they progress, they can make that a bit easier. I don't know. I think probably it's one of those things where there's probably a tipping point that once you start kind of using it a lot more, you might kind of feel that it's working for you more, and that might motivate you to connect more wealth providers or savings providers and whatnot. And I've obviously massively busy with wedding planning at the moment, so I have not prioritized kind of my net worth planning or anything like that. But I think I am going to invest a little bit, and I'll tell you why. My kind of thought process here. I've been thinking quite heavily about when to kind of invest and when to follow on, and how diverse I'd like to be. And I sometimes regret not investing more early on in some companies. Like there's a couple that I've just have done quite well, and I've only invested a small amount early on, and it's kind of frustrating that I've got the wedding coming up because I don't have as much available capital to invest. Nevertheless, I think I am going to invest, and there's a couple of reasons. Number one, I'm going to invest because I think it's an innovative idea. Number two, the user growth, the 5x users, even without having that much capital. Number three, I think that they might have network effects. I think people might start to talk about this. I think it's noteworthy. Number four, I think it's going to be high margin. Number five, I think it'll be highly profitable. I guess it's connected to high margin, but that reliable income compared to like a Monzo. If you think about the VC space and the investor space, I think in 2 or 3 years from now, if anyone's watching this in kind of 2025 or 2026, I kind of have the expectation that Lumio, if there were any drying up of venture capital money, I think that money would probably go towards profitable enterprises over non-profitable ones. So Monzo at this current point is non-profitable. So maybe, I think it raised 500 million, Monzo raised. So, maybe in 3 or 4 years, Lumio, might have 100,000 users or 250,000 users or 1 million users. They're much more likely to get a kind of VC money. And that kind of probability of being able to raise big sources of capital is kind of quite correlated to the chances of the company growing as well. So therefore, fintech's quite sexy, and especially if this company can execute and grow users faster and further, then I think it could raise money faster and kind of with more ease, even in a kind of tightening macro market where VCs invest less in fintech. I think this one could attract investment. That's why I think I am going to invest. I'm trying to find a way to invest in this company. There's only 3 days left of this 3 days left of this campaign. So if you see this video, I'm not going to have time really to polish this video with amazing editing, but there's 3 days left of the campaign. If you're interested in investing, then probably consider doing so. This isn't any kind of advice. I just use financial logic and some of my expertise from working in growth marketing and working in fintech and finance in the past, and my investing experience. I've invested in a lot of brands like this: Plum, Chip, Moneybox. The list goes on and on. Climate, a lot in fintech, saving, WealthTech, etc., etc. So I know the space quite well, and I think there's a lot of room for a lot of players. And this is a kind of platform of platforms. So unlike if there was another platform to another crypto platform, for example, there's quite a few crypto platforms already. But what's interesting about Lumio is I don't think there's that many wealth tech companies in the world, especially in the UK. So that's why I think I personally am going to invest. I won't be able to invest as much as I would like, because this wedding is costing an atrocious amount of money. But I want to get married and stuff. I love my partner, so hopefully that'll be a good return on investment. But anyway, yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there. If you like these videos, probably somewhere on the screen, I'm not quite sure where, there'll be some recommendations about the next video to watch. I've got playlists on investing in fintechs, and I do reviews and analyze all the companies I invest in, more or less, so you can check out. I'm completely transparent. Don't make any money from this. I might start a Discord group or Patreon or something where if you want to support me, you can. For now, though, the best next step, if you'd like to support the channel, is probably to like the video, comment. That always helps as well, and consider subscribing to learn about when there's kind of next raises, and to kind of keep in the loop to not miss out. I'd suggest clicking the bell notification icon button so that you're notified, because it can be quite easy to miss some of these fundraising rounds, and you don't want to miss the kind of next Monzo, if you like. And you never know, Lumio might be the next Monzo, but profitable. Anyway, guys, hope you've enjoyed this as much as I do making it. Remember that knowledge is power, especially the right kind of knowledge, and progress is everything. I'll see you guys in the next upcoming video. Take care. Cheers.